So today I want to do a little product review on something that I've seen a lot of noise, positive, raving about probably for the past few months, the past year. I wanted to try it for a while. I thought, shall I buy it? Shall I not? And in the end, Amazon had a Black Friday sale, had some birthday money left over, and I thought, why not? I'm going to try it. And it is a weighted blanket. That is my weighted blanket. So you've probably seen them about, because like I said, I do think they have been a little bit in fashion this year. They used to just be used with children with autism, and I'm not sure exactly on the science behind it, but it would supposedly make them feel more grounded and centered and calm them down. And they're recommended for people who have anxiety disorders and sleep disorders. I wouldn't say I've got an anxiety disorder, and my sleep, although not perfect because of health reasons, which I'll go into later in the video, is not horrific. It isn't horrific. But I was curious, would this help me or not? So I've had the blanket for almost 2 weeks now, and yeah, I have seen some effects or benefits even. I don't know whether it's strong enough to call them benefits, but I want to talk about what I've personally experienced. So the way they're meant to help is you're meant to choose a blanket that's at least 10 to 12% of your body weight. And this one, it's a standard Amazon, I think it's called, what's it called? Z Nest, ZZZ Nest, and I got it because it was on special offer. But they come in like a child's version, child size, and the small adult version, weight-wise, which is the one I've got, and then the slightly heavy one. So this one is 7.2 kilos, and it's more or less the right size for me. Maybe a little bit too heavy, but it's not, you know, it's within the range of being able to supposedly have positive benefits. And this one, it's individually, you can see these little squares, squares. And that's because they're individually stitched. So there are little glass beads in there, and the stitching stops the beads rolling about, because I would imagine, I think most of them are like that now, but imagine the older versions, they weren't stitched in, so you'd move the blanket and it would all go like to one side and then back to the other, which would be annoying. You can't actually feel the glass in them at all. It just feels like a quilted blanket. It feels really nice. It doesn't feel like sharp or glassy or anything like that. And size wise, this is a double bed. It's covering the double bed. Yeah, it's a good size. I don't know if they come in off the one I bought, I don't know whether they come in single, king size or anything like that. I'm sure you can get them. So I think I paid $45 for this, and that was on sale. I think they're now, the same one is about £60. I'm not too sure, but like I said, lots of different people make them. You can find them in lots of different places. This one doesn't come with a cover, and it's got a little bit so you can like hook it into a cover. But the cover is quite expensive. I think the cover is as expensive as the blanket, if not a little bit more. So I haven't bought the cover, which is slightly worrying because I don't want to get it damaged, but I'm not sleeping with it just like that. I've got my like quilt here and then this on top of it, which does make it a little bit hotter, but I'll talk about all that in a minute. I've got 3 dogs of my own, and you might think, whoa, why is she just talking about this now? It is linked, trust me, just listen. So my dogs, I used to compete in agility with them at a high level, and they're still, although they don't compete anymore, they're still extremely active, and I look after my dogs well, okay? They are treated like little kings and queens because I adore them and I would do anything for them. But when they were competing, they would have hydrotherapy, physiotherapy, massage, and anything to sort of help them. And something I used to focus on quite a lot, and I still focus on now, especially as they're getting a bit older, because it's a really important skill, is something called proprioception. And that is the connection between, I'm going to get this wrong, but the connection between the brain and the body. So being aware, doing exercises to help them be aware of where their limbs are, make them aware of the connection between the body and the brain. Humans can struggle with proprioception too. Now, as part of my ongoing health problems, I've got an autoimmune disease, and it has caused some nerve damage in my legs and my feet. And It seems to affect me a fair bit at night. When I get into bed, I think it's that sudden stillness. On certain days, it can just be unbearable and it can feel like I'm running on a treadmill, and that's how I describe it. I feel like if I shut my eyes, my legs are just doing this and I can't stop them. And it's a really, really unsettling feeling, and it gets quite painful, and I can also have burning feelings in my lower legs. This is actually something that I thought, if I get this blanket, will it help me with it? And I think it has. I think it has, not to a massive degree. The things I've noticed with this blanket, when I fall asleep, I more or less stay asleep with it. And that's not typical for me. So I can fall asleep pretty quickly, but I usually wake up again several times throughout the night, and I'll be like tossing and turning and very aware I'm awake. And I think I fall asleep again quickly, but I think my sleep is quite like this. Oh, another thing, since I was little, there's two things that I can't do when I'm asleep. One is sleep with a light quilt, even if it's summer and it's boiling and I'm just like dying of heat. I have to have a heavier quilt on top of me. So obviously this is heavy. And the other thing is I just can't sleep on my back. I always end up on my front or on my side, and I've had several surgeries in my past where they've said to me afterwards, as part of the recovery, you have to sleep on your back for a week, 2 weeks. I can't do it. And if I've been forced to do it, like when I've had back surgery, it's fine, I can stay in that position, but I can't sleep and my eyes are like this and I'm really worked up and I just can't sleep. But with this, when I fall asleep in this on my back, I wake up in the same position. That doesn't normally happen. Normally I'll fall asleep on my front and I'll wake up and I'll be on my left side, and then I'll wake up again, I'll be on my right side. No, not with this. Every time I wake up, I'm on my back. And I say wake up, but I know I might only be waking up maybe 2 or 3 times a night with this, which for me is a massive reduction, and I fall asleep again really, really quickly. So that is amazing that it's obviously doing something for me to feel so secure in that position where I'm just there and not having to move. And although it's not, I couldn't say it's helped me massively with the nerve pain, it has helped a measurable enough amount. I think it's the pressure on my legs. It just makes my body go. That's how I describe the blanket. And people say it feels like a hug. Don't know about that, but I do think when you get under it, I can feel my body start to go and just let go. And that is something I've not experienced just by getting into bed and trying to go to sleep before. I know a lot of people use them to watch TV and things as well and report benefits. I've not done that yet. I've literally only used it when I'm sleeping. But Christmas holidays are coming up, so hopefully I'm going to have much more of a chance to watch a lot more TV. So I am going to go and sit on the couch and wrap myself up in it and see if it makes any difference. I run quite cold as a person. Touch my hands, they're likely to be ice blocks. My skin is always cold. I am cold, okay? So I've not noticed too much that I'm getting overheated with it. And like I said, I've got this quilt under it as well, so that's quite a lot, but it doesn't seem to affect me that badly. I don't feel too warm. However, my mum has borrowed the blanket a few times. She's like, oh, do you want to try it? And she can't cope. She's like, it's too hot. It's too hot. And also, it's too heavy. She's like, how do you sleep in it? It's heavy. That's the point. It's meant to be heavy. I don't know if that would be for everyone, but I think it is hot because I've got the quilt under it. And my mum had the same when she tried it. So if you just buy the quilt cover for the blanket and just sleep with that, I don't think it'll be that hot. The other thing to just be careful about is don't let it near babies and pets as well. I must admit I had a mild moment of panic because I've got one of my dogs is tiny, little tiny thing, and she sometimes sleeps on my bed, and I was sleeping with this, and I woke up and I was like, oh my God, where is she? Where is she? She was under the blanket and I thought I'd squashed her. But no, she was fine. She seems to quite like it as well, but she does like being squeezed, which is a bit of a weird thing. But yeah, my overall feelings about the blanket are that it definitely does something. It does do something. I would describe it as calming, centering, and reassuring, which is, I guess, a lot of people describe it as a hug. like I said, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's a hug, but I think it does have some sort of effect on me, a positive effect, enough for me to go, I'm going to keep using it. I mean, I like my white bedding, okay? For me, bedding has to be white. I like it white, I like it clean, but I am foregoing my style to have this on top of it. So that is enough evidence for that. For me, it is working, and I do feel some sort of benefit.